Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. And it is just Marco here once again, and I know that you're wondering, Marco, why are you laughing? You silly reviewer? Well, that sounded weird, but the thing is that I just sometimes, this is the funny thing, is that you never know until you know. Now, I've been excited about seeing a new Tron movie for a while. I'm actually a pretty enthusiastic casual fan of Tron, and that's what really sucks, by the way, in my opinion, about being a fan of anything, is that it feels like if I say, like, I'm a huge fan of Tron, then I'm automatically expected to know, like, every single detail, every single character of, like, the whole, mythology and everything. That's what it feels like. Like, I wish I could say it like, hey, I'm a great big fan of this franchise, but I don't feel like I can say that. But I'm gonna say it anyway. I'm a huge fan of Tron. I grew up watching the movie like a couple of times, I think, and but I do remember, like, I liked the movie as a kid, the original movie, and I am not like an older person. I did not, or an older person than I am. I did not. The movie did not come out when I was a kid. Tron Legacy, however, came out when I was a teenager, and I loved that movie. I loved the first movie. I loved Tron Legacy. I highly enjoy both of them. I watched the Tron Legacy like over and over and over again. And the video game, they have a video game. I can't remember. It might be like Tron Evolution or Tron something. And it's actually a really good game. There's a single person story mode, and there's a multiplayer where you just, you go crazy, and it's like a team deathmatch situation or something like that. But, like, it's a really, really fun game. And it was so weird because after that fantastic movie came out, I saw it in theaters with my brother, after that happened, oh, and of course, now my cat wants to live. Now he wants to live. But it's really weird because after that movie came out, they didn't make another one. And I was like, why aren't you continuing this series? Like, Tron is a big thing. I think that Tron is highly, highly underrated. I think that just the whole idea of Tron, the light cycles, the environment, the color, the music, like, just everything about it screams huge franchise, huge potential, huge moneymaker. If I was a studio, I would prioritize Tron. Well, I actually am a studio, and I prioritize my own movies because that's all I have the money for at this point. But, Disney, what's their excuse? They have billions of dollars. They make shitty Star Wars movies that nobody likes or wants. They make shitty Marvel movies where it's just like, girl bosses and shit. They don't make anything good. Oh, and then they have Pixar, and Pixar has become completely irrelevant at this point, which is sad because I grew up, like, fantasizing about working at Pixar, fantasizing about, oh, maybe one day I could be in a Pixar movie. And nowadays it's like, Pixar. That's the studio that released Elio. Did you guys see Elio? If you didn't, then congratulations. You are not an idiot like me. And Bernie really wants to leave. Bernie, I know that you don't like my reviews, but you don't have to be such a little piece of crap about it. I just petted him, and he's like, fuck off! So, yeah. It was just really weird, though, like, Tron was a big thing for a second in like 2011, 2010 when that sequel came out. And then all of a sudden it just disappeared. It's funny because it almost like fits the movie in a way. Because the movie itself, it's like a novelty. It's like like in the original movie, from what I remember, they have like this little arcade. It's like a hole in the wall, and they go there to get into the grid. I think I can't remember, guys. Please don't kill me. But it's like a novelty type of movie. It's like an antique. It's like a time capsule. These movies. And so, like every 10 to 20 years, they make a new Tron. And then they're surprised that no one cares because they waited 10 years to make like a sequel. And this time they made a sequel that I don't think anyone wanted. This movie, Tron Ares, is the movie that we're reviewing today, unfortunately. I was so excited to see this movie. I mean, it's bad enough you got Jared Leto, which Jared Leto, he is weird. He's a weird guy. He's very weird. Rachel Zegler, who I'm a big fan of Rachel Zegler. I think she's hot. I think she's kind of talented when she doesn't talk to the public. And, I think that she would agree with me. Out of all the different topics in the world, if you sat me and her together in a room, and if you locked the door, I think that me and her would come to an agreement about one issue out of many. And the big issue would be Jared Leto is a weird guy. He is like an alien. He is like an outer space alien. And he is just not someone that you want to see in a movie. Okay? Like, I don't know what it is nowadays. This has become a huge problem nowadays. They make these movies with main characters, these people that you would not want to see. You would not want to see these people leading a movie. They used to have something called a leading man and a leading woman. And it was hot. It was really good. The movies did really well. And people loved movies. They called it cinema. They called it film. Nowadays, you have Jared Leto. You got, who else do we have nowadays who's leading movies? Let's go over the trash. You got Pedro Pascal, okay? You got Alec Baldwin. You got Alec Baldwin in a Western. The movie's so bad that I don't want to make that joke anymore. You got Jason Momoa thinking he can act. You got the Leonardo DiCaprio movie that comes out every year or two, and it's like, oh, that's the big 3-hour movie with Leonardo. That's the greatest movie ever, and then you watch it and it's like, yeah, that wasn't very good. Sorry, Leonardo DiCaprio. The scene where you're like, what's the code? I can't remember what the fucking passcode is. I'm just do the Leonardo DiCaprio. That's the Leonardo DiCaprio impression. That's my impression of Leonardo DiCaprio. And let's see what else. These big releases. Not very. I mean, Lilo and Stitch. That's just a AI movie. That's not a real movie. Denzel Washington. He's a great movie star. And they put him in this terrible movie that came out this year. So as you guys can see, they don't have anyone. They got, look at this movie, The Gorge. You got Miles Teller, Anya Taylor-Joy never takes her clothes off in the movie. It's like, who wants that? I guess Aaron Taylor Johnson, he's okay. I actually kind of do like Austin Butler. I do like Julia Garner. I think she's really hot, and I think she's also really talented, that's like the perfect balance. Like that's what Thanos would say about Julia Garner. Perfectly balanced, like everything should be. Hot body and perfect acting. So, let's get back to the shitty movie, which is Tron Ares. This is a movie that I was so sad because, the movie theaters nowadays, they don't want to make money. They do not want to make money. They do not want your money. Because after a week, they take the movie off of IMAX, they take it off of 3D, they take it off of everything, and it's like, oh, you want to see Tron Ares, Marco? You can see it in the crappiest theater at like 5 o'clock in the evening. You can see it that one screening per day in standard. You can't see it on IMAX. You can't see it in 3D any more than a week. And I really despise that because in the olden days, and the days before Hollywood got completely trash, they would let movies play in theaters and you could go see them. You could feel like, oh, I don't have to rush to go to the theater opening weekend, because that's what it feels like nowadays. There's this really queer thing. There's this obsession with like, what is the opening weekend of, each and every single fucking movie that comes out. And I gotta tell you guys something. I don't give a fuck about the fucking opening weekend of a fucking movie. That is the most least important thing in the fucking universe, okay? I care about the movie. I care about what the movie is. And Tron Ares, it had a terrible opening weekend. Who cares? You know why? Because let's just focus on the movie. Let's take all the box office. Oh, let's do the box office breakdowns. And let's talk about who cares? Let's talk about, okay, what was Tron Ares like? It was complete trash. It was like an AI-generated movie, and I know that that's become like a hot thing to say, like, oh, that looks like it was made by AI. The way that you can tell is that the things that happen and the dialogue, all of it is very confusing, and it doesn't really make sense. It doesn't feel like real human people wrote it or made it. That's exactly what this movie is about. It's sad because there were a couple good ideas sprinkled here and there. Like, I like Evan Peters. I really like him. In fact, I just saw him in a Mentalist episode recently because I'm watching the whole series of The Mentalist, and he did a really good job. It was a really good episode. And it's funny because it was also about like technology and stuff, and so it kind of reminded me of I gotta watch the new Tron movie, and I don't even know what to say about this movie, like what it's even about. Like, it's about battling corporations, and it's about, because you have, and from the original movie, there was a good guy and a bad guy. From what I remember, there were two guys who started a company together, and then one of them did something bad or something, and he started his own company, and he betrayed the main guy. I can't remember, but like, I guess this movie follows like the young, like, relative of that guy, like the young guy, Evan Peters, and then his mom, Gillian Anderson. And so it's like the movie from the bad guy's perspective. But the thing is that you never get any human perspective in this movie. This movie is so paper thin and so one-dimensional. And it's so funny because people act like movies were bad in the 2000s because they had sexy female characters and they were quote-unquote one-dimensional. But I'm telling you guys, movies in the 2000s were nowhere near as one-dimensional as the movies that we have nowadays. This movie was so brain dead. It was so paper thin. It was so fake. It was so just not authentic. Not like there's no humanity in this film. And that's the ironic thing, is that, then, so this guy, the Evan Peters, he creates these AI soldiers from the grid, and they can come into the real world, but they can only be there for like 30 minutes and then they die. And so you would think that would allow for some really intense, suspenseful action sequences, but no, it's just really predictable and lame, boring, not very fun, not very interesting, not very exciting. The music is terrible. 9 Inch Nails, they are not very good. They did a terrible job. I don't know why they didn't just get Daft Punk again, because their music for Tron Legacy was incredible. And, I don't know why they did that. So you have Jared Lesbo. He is the main AI guy, and he is Ares, but I'm just gonna call him Jared Lesbo. And then you have his assistant, who is Athena, and those are the two main AI characters. And surprise, surprise, they have no character. But what I was gonna say is that, like, it's so ironic that this movie's all about AI, and it's all about, like, AI doesn't have a soul, it doesn't have any humanity, and well, then the actual movie itself doesn't have any humanity either. So, it's like a double fuck you. It's like a double shitstorm. This movie is a shitstorm. And then you have the good company, the Jeff Bridges company, I think. There's this woman named Eve Kim, and she's kind of pretty. I mean, she's kind of she doesn't really have a character at all. And then she works with this guy, and this guy's really weird, because the guy that she works with, he looks like the kid from The Sandlot. The kid who says, "You're killing me, Smalls." I've only seen that movie once, but he looks exactly like that guy grown up. And I would know because that guy was in an X-Files episode, which was all about vampires. And he actually played a vampire. It was really cool. But, so I know that this review has kind of been confusing, and that's because the movie itself was very confusing. It was very choppy, and it was hard to really get one perspective and to get a story and to get like a beginning, middle, and end with very well-defined characters, because there were no characters in this movie. It was just like archetypes, stereotypes, quotas, diversity checkboxes, like, oh, we got to have this person. And I'm not saying diversity is bad, so please don't say that I'm saying that. But what I'm saying is that, like, it didn't feel like there were any real characters. It was just very superficial, very artificial, and just very, very, just fake. This is a fake movie. It's an inauthentic movie. It's like it's a studio, made by committee blockbuster. There's no vision here. There's no art. It's just trash. And I guess the big idea too is, like, what if the characters from Tron went into the real world? And what if they went into the city? Ooh, we could see light cycles in the city. Ooh, isn't that interesting? No, it is not. You know why? Because as soon as you do that, what does it turn into? It turns into a generic blockbuster. Like, that's just like any other blockbuster movie. Like, oh, here we go. There's going to be a city. And, oh, no, people have to run away from the destruction in the stupid city that no one cares about. Oh, no. There's a building that got crushed. Oh, no. Oh, no. There's a chase going on down by Central Park. Let me take my pill. That was a weird transition. But, like, it's like, okay, like, taking the Tron characters and all that stuff into the real world is just, it's a dumb idea. There's nothing really interesting about it except for that time limit thing about we can only be out here for 30 minutes or less. There's nothing else that's good about it. It feels like a student film at points. It feels kind of like, oh, well, you want to make... it feels like, back in the old YouTube days, they had these really cringy videos on, like, how to do an explosion effect in After Effects in your movie. And, I bet this seemed very, like... impactful at the time and very useful, but it just felt very like fake and phony, and just it didn't look very good. These effects, like I remember, like, oh, you want to look like you're battling wizards and Harry Potter, stuff like that. And that's what it feels like in this movie when you see the Tron stuff in the real world. When you see the light cycles in the real world, there's hardly any disc action in this movie at all. There is no light cycle races in this movie. So everything that makes a really good Tron movie is not in this movie. It's just, it's like an episode of a Tron TV show that should have gotten canceled in its first season. But all of it just looks like a student film. It looks like a student film where they used After Effects, and it looks terrible. And, I hated this movie. It was just so bad. And there's a lot of product placement in the movie, too. The main character, he keeps on mentioning Depeche Mode, some kind of composer. I guess, did they do the music for the first movie? I don't know. But, like, they keep on mentioning that over and over and over again. It was kind of gay. And there's this one part where they're running by this huge, Enterprise sign. And so I guess that's a company, and they paid to have advertising in this movie. And see, that's the other thing. That's what it feels like. Is like, this is why I didn't want Tron in the real world. Is because, this is why. We gotta have product placement. We gotta have this huge, glaring Enterprise sign. It's like, why don't you make it smart? Why don't you just make it subtle and nice, and not just make it so, like, just unashamed, like a hooker standing on a street corner, like, hey guys, you want to... It's Enterprise. Like, who cares about who the fuck knows what Enterprise is? I'm gonna look it up right now. Who the fuck is an Enterprise? Enterprise company. Is that for fucking cars and shit? Oh, fuck it. It's a fucking rent-a-car company. Fucking rent-a-car ass bitch. Okay, so here we go. Enterprise, rent-a-car. I'm never getting sponsored by them, obviously, but Enterprise, you guys need to, figure it out. This was not it. Product placement can be a very good thing, but it's not good when you do it like this, where you're like a hooker on a street corner. You're like a crack whore. You're like that crack whore named Candy on a street corner in fucking Florida. And, the guy picks you up and he says, hey, you wanna do some sucking action, and then I'm gonna give you the money for the crack. That's what you are, Enterprise. You are a crack whore on the street corner. You're gonna have to do some bad things if you want to feed your addiction. Okay, that's what you are. That's what you are, Enterprise. Is that what you want to be? Is that the type of company that you want to be? I hope not. Okay? So, yeah, I know that was pretty crazy, but I don't fucking care. And then there was this really weird part where Jared Lesbo got into this car, and this is what they think of, like, AI. Is, like, AI just goes around, like, analyzing everything, like, oh, okay, I am in a Honda Civic year 2000, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And he does that, and then he says, "Nice car." And so that was very clearly like product placement again, cringeworthy, very, very just in your face, just really sad. Like, I did not want to hate this movie. I love Tron. I did love the idea of like the red, because the last movie was blue. You know, it was Tron Legacy. Everything was blue. In this movie, everything was red. I thought that was a cool idea. Red is my favorite color, which is fitting for me, you know, because I'm a red type of guy. You know, I'm a Sagittarius. You know, I'm a war guy. You know, I'm that type of guy. So not all the time, obviously, but you know, I was really excited for this movie, and it was just such a huge disappointment. It was just so all over the place, and it was not interesting or exciting, and the characters were not likable. And let's see what else I said. You know what else about this movie is that hardly anything happens the entire movie. I mean, like, it's really pretty bad, guys. Like, this movie, it really could have been like a 30-minute short film. Like, it did not need to be a 2-hour movie. There was no story there at all that warranted 2 hours. It was basically all about, like, I guess these people, like, you got Jared Leto and then the two companies, and they all want what's called like a permanence code, so that they can put the AI into the real world forever or something. I don't know. I have no idea. Jared Leto really wants it. He wants to become a person, which I bet that the real Jared Leto, I bet that he thinks that he's better than people. So, it's just, his character sucked. You know, like, he's been good in older movies, but in all these, like, modern movies like Morbius and this, like, he is terrible. Terrible, terrible. And if he's in a movie, it's kind of like automatically, like, I want to avoid that movie because he is not that good nowadays. And he's like a walking meme. He's a walking embarrassment. And, yeah, there's this part in the movie, though, that's really, really cringeworthy. This is what I was talking about, how it felt like this movie was made by AI, because there was a line. There were a lot of terrible lines throughout the entire movie. Jared Leto says, "There's nothing permanent about life," or something like that. And the reason why he's saying that is, like, it's a pun because of the permanence code. And he gets it in the movie. He gets it, and so he is a real person by the end of the movie somehow. He's an AI person who's become a real person. So maybe this movie is just transhumanist propaganda. That's probably what it really was meant to be. We all know these corporations, these film studios, we all know what they're really up to. There's a lot of transhumanist propaganda nowadays. Like, you know, what if robots were like us? You know, what if robots have feelings? You know, it's like, that's become like a big focus nowadays. And so maybe that was like the whole point of this movie, which is kind of embarrassing because nobody fucking watched this movie because it was so bad. And it had Jared Leto in it, thinking he could act. But, like, it's just so cringeworthy, like, to say the word permanent and talking about there's no permanent thing about life or something. I mean, what the hell? Who writes this kind of shit? Who writes lines like that? And then, I would also say, too, I play GTA for fun. Like, the sad thing is that, like, I have been having so much trouble finding, like, a good game to play in my spare time. Just something that I can pick up and play for, like, an hour or two in some, like, afternoons. And so I pretty much resort to playing GTA Online, which is like an apocalyptic wasteland. You know what I like to do? I like to be really mean. I get on there. I probably shouldn't even admit this, but I get on there and I find people and I message them and I say, no. I'm not gonna say what I say because you guys are gonna think I'm insane. But let's just say it really upsets people, and then it starts like a big battle. But like, GTA Online is very random. It's very, very chaotic and messy, and just it's all over the place. It's very, very weird what it's become. You have the people on their stupid hover bikes, just blowing everything up. That's what this movie's like. This movie is like GTA Online, the movie. That is the perfect comparison. Because in the game, in GTA Online, there's no humanity. There's no character. There's no story. It's just, you ride around the city and you can shoot people, shoot things. You can do heists and stuff, but like there's no characters, there's nothing. That's what Tron Ares is like. But GTA is better because it just is better. It has a little bit more stuff to it. And so the ending of the movie, spoiler alert, is Jared Leto. He has retired from not doing anything, and he is. They literally, you guys aren't gonna believe this. They ended the movie like The Dark Knight Rises. They tried to recreate The Dark Knight Rises with Jared Leto. He is in a cafe. And it's like they're copying like Bruce Wayne at the end of Dark Knight Rises, where he's in that Italian cafe and Alfred sees him and he's like, cheers. And then it ends the movie. It's like, oh my God. And Jared Leto does this cringeworthy voiceover narration where he says, he says things like this: life is hard to put in a nutshell. Life is hard to put in a nutshell. That really is something that Jared Leto would say, though. I mean, come on, guys. That's definitely something he would say in real life. But, like, yeah. It's really weird, too, because the wardrobe that they gave him, just the whole color grading and everything, it reminded me of the ending of Silence of the Lambs, where Hannibal Lecter has escaped. He's escaped, and he's on the phone with Clarice. And you can see him. He's got a wig on. He's got a blonde wig on, and he's got a hat on. He's got the sunglasses. He's on like a tropical island. And then we see Chilton, and he says, "I'm gonna have an old friend for dinner." And then he walks away and follows Chilton. And it's like this really ominous ending. Like, oh shit. Hannibal fucking Lecter. And by the way, we never got to find out what happened to Chilton. Did we ever, because I've read the Hannibal book. I watched the Hannibal movie, unfortunately. We never find out what happens to Chilton. From what I remember. That's kind of shitty, but they did the same thing with this movie, guys. I am not kidding you. It was so reminiscent. He sends Eve Kim, the Asian female character who's like the good company character. She's not even a character. I feel bad for the actress, though. I hope she gets better movies. I hope everyone in the movie except Jared Leto gets better movies. Because this isn't anything personal against them. It's against the script and against the Disney, which sucks. But he sends her a postcard and they have this voiceover, and then Jared Leto gets up and he gets on a motorcycle, and it's like, oh yeah, motorcycles are totally like light cycles, get it, guys? And maybe our world is just like the grid. Oh, wow. That's so deep, bro. And so then Jared Leto rides off, and the shot, though, it reminded me so much of Silence of the Lambs. Jared Leto is like fucking Hannibal Lecter. I'm convinced. He has no charisma. He looks like he smells. Like his hair. You know what he would be really good at? He would be really good at being a live action Splinter from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Because he just looks like a rat. He looks like a rat in human form. He looks smelly. He looks greasy. He's so unlikable. He has no charisma at all. He's not handsome in any way, like a leading man type of way. He's terrible. And it just, I don't know, like, what they were thinking making this movie. Evan Peters, he gets away at the end. He goes into the grid, so I guess that was like a teaser for a sequel that's never gonna happen. And, yeah. So in a way, Disney, they kind of sabotaged it. They kind of just made this shitty movie that, no one would have liked ever. And they didn't give us what we wanted, which would have been a sequel to Legacy. And they didn't even give us like a real movie. I mean, you can't really even call this a real movie because it was like a TV episode. Hardly anything happened, and it was all trash anyway. And I know that this is probably like a really negative review to some people, but I can't help it. This movie fucking sucked. It sucks so bad. And thanks to this movie, we're not going to see Tron until like what? Let's see. 2030 something? 2040? Like, it just sucks, guys. It really, really sucks. In terms of food, I don't know. At least I'm being honest, right? At least I'm being honest. You know what? I'm going to pull a Safi. I'm going to pull a Safi and just give like the most lazy food review ever, but is just like secretly genius too. I would give this movie a Twix. No. I'm not giving this shit a Twix. Fuck that. Let me take my other pill, my allergy pill. This movie, as I'm looking around my room for some kind of hint as to what to rate this piece of shit movie. God, what is this movie? What is this movie? What is it? Wow, I'm having trouble, guys. It's just so bad. It's just so bad. Like, I wish I could say it's a bad burger sandwich. You know what? I am going to give it what I was going to originally give it because it kind of makes sense. This movie is a Twix ghoulish green candy bar. Now, I love Twix. I don't eat candy all the time. Obviously, it's Halloween time. It's November, October, which Halloween is starting to become a year-long thing for me. I don't want it to end, because why should it end? Like Easter sucks, Christmas is boring, and Thanksgiving is pretty okay, but like I like Halloween, and they released this new Twix candy bar and they say it's ghoulish green. But the thing about it is that there's no difference in flavor. It's just a green food coloring that was put into the nougat part of the Twix. And so I was like, wow, that's really lazy. why not just, like, why not change it? Why not make something interesting or different? Add like a mint flavor, like a minty Twix, and then it could have the green food coloring. But no, like, it's just a green colored Twix on the inside, and it's still the same Twix flavor. And I love Twix, but like, it was really, really lazy. Did not like it at all. Just like this movie. So yeah, that's my food rating. This movie can go jump off a cliff. I hope that some people did like it though, because it would be a shame if they put all this effort and money into making this movie and then no one liked it. That would kind of suck. And I hope that, I don't know, I hope that a better company buys Tron, and then I don't know what company that would be, because Disney is just like trying to buy all the different companies, and like all the different companies are just absorbing each other. It's really, really queer and weird and shitty. And but like, I hope that we get Tron again. Us Tron fans deserve better. We deserve a hell of a lot better. And yeah, I don't know what else to say about this fucking movie. So please like this video and comment and tell me what you thought of Tron Ares. And then if you'd like to see more content like this, we have a Patreon with extra content and bonus reviews, and also my new short film, County Fear. And it's exactly what you would want it to be if you like indie horror films. It's a fun 38-minute short. Budget was like under $1,000. So it's a very, very fun movie, and it's very Halloween-y. It's a little scary. It's a little funny at certain points, and it's really good. It's got a lot of color in it, and I think you Tron fans, if you like things with a lot of color, you will love County Fear. It is currently on sale on Patreon for $5. You can watch the whole thing if you just want to buy the movie, if you don't want to subscribe to Patreon. And I have a black and white version of the movie for $5 as well. And so, yeah. Goodbye, everybody. See you soon.